Welcome, everybody, to the Mansfield Buzz. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Mansfield Buzz, where we cover Mansfield businesses and the surrounding area. Talk to our host over here. My name's Hardy Burke, and Jordan Huff is the other host, Pattie. And you ready for this, Pattie? I actually got it right. Pattie Kisilewich is with us today with Dreamaker Vacations. We're going to talk to her in a very few minutes, but we have some things to talk about. Jordan, we're still averaging about a little over 1,000 to 2,000 visitors per 28 days, and we're up around 44 hours of watch time now. We just went above a record. We're now hit 44 hours of watch time. And that means our channel was launched in March. We have 101 subscribers, so we're really excited. We already have 2 likes, and that's the next big thing I want to show you guys is if you are listening right now, make sure you are going over to Mansfield TX Buzz on YouTube. You see the link right down there. Not only do you need to click the subscribe button, but you need to go under this video on the channel right now and click that thumbs up, because anytime you click that thumbs up, you're helping the algorithm. And yes, hit that thumbs up. Jordan's showing you right there. And here's the cool thing. If you want chat, you can ask us questions, chat, and we will, in fact, put those up and make you famous, just so you know. Okay, so all right, so something else. We've got everything booked. Jordan, you're gonna love this. I just filled March up.
Yes.
We're now. You have to book with us till April, and so I think Jordan can put up I'll put it up and right there. If you want to be a guest on our show, all you have to do is go to Hardy@hardyburke.com, send me an email, say yes, guest on Mansfield Buzz, and we'll get a hold of you, send you all the details, and jump you on. All right, so we have a sponsor, and we're so excited to introduce Liberty Tax Defenders today. And if you'll give me a minute, we're going to start the icebreaker section. We're going to jump in with Pattie in a minute and go through some fun facts with her. But here is our icebreaker. We'll be right back. All right, everybody, Liberty Tax Defenders. Brad Horton and Wade Dennis, and I'm just going to ad-lib a little bit here. If you go to their website and look at their bios, it's incredible about their experience in the tax world, CPA world. They are top-notch gurus, and I'm going to show you a video in a minute, but let me read a little bit about them to you. And guys, thank you for being a sponsor on our show. Liberty Tax Defenders, your premier tax resolution firm. We work every day to help hardworking Americans keep their money out of the hands of overzealous bureaucrats. They said that, okay? We help our clients solve problems with back taxes, unfiled tax returns, payroll, and trust fund issues. We also negotiate payment plans and offers in compromise that are favorable to our clients, as well as represent clients who are under an audit by the IRS. In addition, we help clients navigate through tax issues such as that employment retention credit you've heard a lot about, as well as providing CFO consulting, tax preparation, accounting services. And they have helped save their clients over $1 million in asset tax and penalties. So if you're under audit, need help with taxes, please call them. And their number is 817-995-5008. But I'd rather you go and look at their website at Liberty Tax Defenders. Get to know these guys and know that they can help you. And we'll be right back. We're going to play a short video so you get to know them.
I don't agree with the IRS's position. What are my options?
Well, you can tell them to pound sand, which so few people do this. Don't just agree. They're wrong so often. You have rights. You can appeal it. The appeal must be made within 30 days of the date that the IRS has made a determination. You file a formal notice of appeal and you present your case before appeals. And they consider how much is it going to cost the IRS to go to court. At the end of the day, what's another 12 to 18 months if you save yourself 50 grand in the long run, which is, I think that's being conservative.
So, and may I add, and I didn't say this last week, so I'm going to put in a Hurdyism right here, and that is, and may I add that these guys have a little rebel inside them. So, and so you guys need to get a hold of them. Thank you, Liberty Tax Defenders, for being a sponsor. And Jordan, this is where we jump into Pattie's icebreakers and start learning a little bit about how to plan that great vacation.
Awesome. Pattie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
We're going to jump in with the icebreakers and get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
And the first thing is you're actually pretty new to the country, huh?
I am. Actually, my husband and I just moved down here from Canada. We crossed the border on June 16th of 2023. So we settled in the Fort Worth area here, bought our first home in August of 2023. And we did our first summer here and our first winter here. So, yeah, we're Texans now.
Nice. How was that?
Warmer than Canada for sure, and hotter than Canada for sure. So, yeah, we love the heat. So when we came in your hottest summer, we felt great. It was awesome. And then I do have to giggle a little bit about when we get that half inch of snow that I'm used to. Heat of snow. It's a little bit different, but it's all in kind of in proportion. So doing good here though.
Never seen such panic over a half inch of snow, have you?
No. I mean, we still went to work and went to school and everything. Like nothing stops when we get 2 feet of snow, kind of thing.
Cool.
So it's just different.
Funny. Yeah. And I bet you also to the winter, we're like, oh my God, it's cold. You're like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I'm getting used to it. I did wear a vest the other day and jeans,
wow.
So I'm getting there. So
yeah, get in the hang of it, I suppose. I mean, yeah, to you, that's just like, my refrigerator's colder.
Yeah, pretty much.
So then moving on to, you're a proud Texas resident, but apparently you have some other ties to some other states, huh?
Yeah, actually, my husband and I are total foodies. Besides travel as a passion, food is the next one, and a lot of people relate. Terry and I have actually been Kansas City barbecue judges since 2018.
Wow.
It's a thing. I know I get asked right away.
A good thing.
You take a course for a day, you have to pass a little exam and you become a certified judge. And then you can actually judge any master competition for Kansas City barbecue. And they are worldwide. Oh. So on your trip to Italy, if you come across one of the competitions, you can sign up and judge. It's all volunteer. It's all for free, but a great day or a bad day at barbecue is a great day any day. So
right. No kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, this year we also became Steak Cook-Off Association judges. That's actually local, up on the way to Jacksboro. A gentleman had started it here, and it's actually out of the country as well. They're into Europe and Mexico as well for competitions. And I think it was 2008 or so, we became world food judges. So Dallas was the proud holder of that competition for the last 4 years, and they've just now. So that is where all top cooks come to compete. So we love doing that. And then we take a lot of our food kind of passion on the road with us when we travel. So,
yeah. I mean, for me, travel, half of it is just going to go eat over there.
Jordan, can you imagine getting to taste like 10 different briskets, Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean, it's volunteer, but it's just like, I would pay for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I would pay to do that.
Yes.
Okay, and for our last icebreaker, and this is honestly the first thing that caught my attention when I first met you. You have a giant tattoo on your leg that says Mexico.
Yeah, I do.
And then I noticed that is not your only one, but as a matter of fact, you have quite a bit.
I do. That was growing up. I'm like, tattoos aren't my thing until I get the first one. And they say, once you got one, you need more. My tattoos all mean something to me. They're either family related, my dad's heartbeat, my grandmother's heartbeat, and travel. So every place we travel now, we try and get a tattoo to remember where we were.
I did a shot class.
Yeah, I do have Mexico down one leg. I have one from Cuba on the other leg. I have on the top of my feet things that mean to me as well. And down my arm, I'm starting every female in my family, their favorite flower will be going down my arm. So that's my,
cool.
my family. So things when I get tattooed have to mean something to me.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, and
Awesome.
my coolest one I have to say is when we were in Jamaica, I actually got my footprint done with ink and we just shrunk it a little bit. So I have the Jamaican flag in my footprint.
That's cool.
Now, every place we're traveling, every place my foot hits on that soil, I'm going to be getting a tattoo from that country. And I'll put the flag.
That's cool.
Yeah, they're great conversation pieces to start.
Absolutely.
Not bad.
That's cool.
Yeah,
It also tells me how important barbecue is to you.
it is.
Because before the show, she showed us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My Kansas City barbecue judge number is tattooed on my wrist.
That's amazing.
And it's funny that we do it because every time you judge something, you have to write your number down. And every time you have to look at your badge or pull it out and write your number.
So hold your wrist up. That's
there
perfect.
it is.
That's right. I love it.
I'm thinking.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and that brings us, perfect segue to, just your career and traveling and what you bring us to with, here's actually, I'll pop up your website, Dreamaker Vacations. That's awesome URL.
Yep.
And one of the things that I think for audience would be the most helpful thing to start with is I don't think a lot of people actually understand how to use a travel agent. So, can you bring us a little bit through that? Why would anybody use a travel agent? And can you kind of walk us through it? Because how on earth do you get paid, right? You do a lot of work. I've worked with travel agents in the past, and they make your life so easy. The trip plans itself. Everything is done for you, and you never pay them.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting. We kind of sit back and go, why am I in this business again?
But the one thing that I do want you to walk us through is go in it from the what's in it for you, because for the people that have never used a travel agent, you have no idea what you're missing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So why a travel agent? Really, why I got in the business is because I had a really crappy trip. I planned it, but things went wrong. And when I got there, the hotel didn't find my reservation. Then when we finally got to the room, it wasn't the room that I booked. And I know what I booked because I booked it. I know how to do this. And who do you argue with? Who do you call for help? And I just realized a lot of people go through that. Travel is a luxury. We work really hard for our money. And when we spend it on travel, A, our expectations are already there. And B, we really want it to happen. So I kind of got into the business knowing that a lot of people struggle. Going online and just putting in your details to, Expedia, Booking.com, whoever, you can book out a trip. You know what you're booking, but are you going to get what you think you're getting? So to book with a travel agent, essentially, it's the expertise. It's, should I go in March or should I go in September? Should I go to Cancun side? Should I go to Puerto Vallarta side? Should I do a cruise or should I do all-inclusive? And a good travel agent has traveled, and that's my hashtag, is use a travel agent that travels. I've been there. I can tell you both. I can give you the pros and cons. Tell me what your expectations are, and then let's chat about that. So really qualifying my clients to making sure I understand what you want, and then tagging you up with the right product is the most important thing that a travel agent does. Then, we do what you would do. Go in and book the trip. So we put in all the details. We make sure, your passports haven't expired and, that you can get into the country. Do you need a visa? The new one for the UK or the EU, visas are coming in 2025. Do you understand them? Do you need one? Do you not need one? Those are our jobs. And that's just to be the support. So we go in and we book it. We give you your documents. We make sure that you have the most up-to-date flight schedules. Then you go for your trip. And if anything goes wrong, you call me. You don't have to wait on hold. You don't have to try find a number. I'm your support. So that's really the biggest reason to using a travel agent is the experience that you can get, the knowledge, the access to maybe things you hadn't thought about before, and ultimately that support if something goes wrong. And then the great thing is, how do we get paid? We get paid from our vendors. We do not charge any of our clients. If a travel agent's asking you for, money, that could be a planning fee. That's totally different. Mm-hmm. But we usually get paid after my clients travel. So the hard part is people will come and they'll say, oh, I want to look at an all-inclusive trip. We'll plan it. I book it, you travel, then I get that commission from the vendor. So the unique part that a lot of people don't realize is that if you were to go on Delta Vacations and find a trip, I go on my website as an agent and find the exact same trip, you pay the exact same dollar amount. The commission's already built in. You just have to do all the work and research yourself.
So basically, my choice is to, for example, Delta, to pay Delta so I can do all the work, mm-hmm. or pay the same amount of money so you get paid and I do none of the work.
Exactly.
I like that.
I know.
Convenient.
You're right. A lot of people just don't understand how it works. They, and until you do that, then you're like, wait a minute. Your time is valuable. So
because when you think about it, you're so used to buying businesses and services for a product and service that when you think you're going in to get a travel agent, that you are hiring them, but you're hiring them totally different from what they're probably thinking. And I remember that too. I was really surprised the first time I ever used one when they said, well, you don't write us a check. And I go, oh. No, that's taken care of. You just need to get this all set up through us to make sure you're taken care of.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of people don't understand. Just like for those hotels, those airlines, all the activities, all this stuff. Like your compensation is marketing expenses for them.
Right.
Which if you book it directly, then you basically, you just bypass that altogether. So it's never comes out of the traveler.
Nope. They're paying the same amount no matter who you're going to actually book it through. Like you said, it comes down to you got to do all the work, deal with the issues, deal with problems, or just say, I want this, here's my card, and it's done.
And one thing that I would like to underscore, because I happen to know somebody that happens to be a researcher. I don't know who I'm talking about.
Who would that be?
We have a lot of researchers, and a lot of us are researchers in certain fields. And it's amazing how much you can learn about a place when you're planning a vacation. And you spend maybe like a week time, a month, you start gearing up for this and you start absorbing all this information. But you do it at one time, you learn a lot, you travel and you find out a lot. Imagine that times full time. Mm-hmm. All the knowledge that you have, all the resources that you have. I don't care how much people can Google or even ChatGPT stuff. You're still not going to get near the depth that all these years of experience come with you.
Yeah.
In all the time that you can save yourself and just kick back and actually let a vacation be a vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because use a travel agent that travels.
Exactly.
If you know what that cruise ship does, if you know what it's like to go up to Alaska, to go through hopping off at the different stops, coming back in and going in the days and the meals, you can brag about those and say, hey, we had this, we love that. That just to me just brings Pattie, that would just make it easy for me to grab Pattie and say, Pattie, I need you to plan our next trip or help us, right? Yeah.
Word of mouth is the best, right? No matter what profession you're in, if you can get a personal referral from somebody saying, I've done this, I've used this person, I've been there, that means so much more to people that you carry that with a higher esteem. If you can talk to a travel agent, like you said, Herdy, that knows how to get off of a cruise ship and how it means to, go back into port and then come back on, you can do that. How to do a tender off of a cruise ship, the all-inclusive, the excursions, this one here would have this included for it. This is an all-day one. This is on a bus of 60 people. Don't do that one. Let's give you a local driver. Those kind of things are really important when it comes to travel. So
Another thing that I would also like to underscore, because this just happened to my mom, we were talking about it yesterday, is the legality, you mentioned visas, and when I have used other travel services that are big box, have one website, you can book everything.
Yeah.
Let's call them Travelpedia for a random name
Okay.
there.
Sure.
My mom booked with Travelpedia, and she was traveling with her sister, my aunt, who is Mexican. She doesn't have a US visa. My mom went to Mexico to travel with her, and they booked a layover in the US.
Mhm.
You cannot get into the US without a visa. It doesn't matter if it's a layover. You cannot get off the plane. It's a nightmare. And if you have to transfer planes, you are doomed. So she had to deal with that. And, it was an ordeal on the travel. So she asked them to correct it. Well, they didn't correct it on the way back. So they ran into the same issue.
Right.
Then they transferred them to another flight that had another layover in the US. Like, come on.
Yeah.
They ended up having to book their own flight, drive down to, because they were in France, they have to drive down to Rome to get on that plane. So they can have a layover in Turkey and get to Mexico. And it's, and honestly, shame on Travelpedia for being so
and not helpful. No.
Yeah.
Well, and that's really the difference with a travel agent and what we call them is order takers. So the big box people hire, and even some of the cruise lines hire people to answer the phones and take orders. They've never been on a cruise ship. They've never been out of the country. They don't understand about visa. That's not their job. Their job is for you to say, I want to go this date on this ship or to this place, and they order take it. They put in it, they take your card, they book it, they send you a document. That's their scope. So no criticism to them, but that's all that they do. They expect you to know the rest. And you know what? Rules change constantly. After COVID, after 911, oh my gosh, everything has changed and it keeps changing. 2025 is the visa that's now come in. So that only happened a few months ago. And now they're jostling it back and forth. Do we do it? Do we not? We're going to give a buffer. No, we're not. So all of that changes. And that's really our job, is to stay on top of that and to help our clients to get through that stuff.
Awesome.
Where is this visa coming into effect?
It actually came in supposedly January 8th, but they're
who is it for?
It was for the EU. There's certain places in Europe that you must have a visa, even if you're from Canada or the US or whatever. It's not every country, but there's a lot of countries that now have it. And it could change again in a month. It may not, but I do have clients that are cruising there in May, and we're watching it because, we're probably going to have to get it. But if they change it again, they may not have to. But for us, for my comfort, our clients are going to apply for it just to make sure that they are good to go, that there aren't any issues. Yeah. Cruise ships at one point used to take care of it for clients. But now with all the rules changing and everybody's coming from different countries with different passports, that is a responsibility of a traveler. And most people just don't, I'm not even going to say don't think about it, don't know.
I was going to say they probably don't know. They probably always thought that a passport was enough.
Yeah.
And if they just go and book something without knowing that, they're going to be stuck.
Yeah.
Literally.
So it is really just our job is to go that little extra, make sure that they understand it, help them get it if they need it. I mean, we are not immigration lawyers. We do not, if you have, something on your record that doesn't allow you into a country, there's nothing that a travel agent can do about that. That is you do need to do that yourself. But things like visas and stuff and having a valid passport for a certain amount of time, that is our role.
Yeah. Gotcha. Awesome.
And under the, so we're talking a little bit now, getting into travel and different kinds of travels. Do you have a specialty or something you like to kind of focus on?
Yeah. I love doing all-inclusive to the resorts. They are great package deals. People get on a flight, go to a resort, get pampered, and come home. It's great trips. I love doing cruises. I've been on over 30 cruises. I'm going on Virgin next week. Cruising for me is a great value. It's unpack once, see a bunch of the world at one time. I love it. And then what I do is I really love putting those together as groups. So whether you have 8 or 10 friends or a family that wants to do a reunion in Mexico for an all-inclusive, or they want to do a cruise group or get married on a cruise. Destination weddings are fabulous for cruises. So I love doing group travel as well. So whether you know everybody and bring a group, or if I take out group space and just put a whole bunch of strangers together and make them meet friends. So we love doing that.
That's awesome. And talking a little bit more about the groups, what are hosted groups? And oh, hey, we got a
Yeah, I just interrupt this. Heather says we are a military family and almost always have a last minute short trips. Do you have deals for that? We all have passports.
Perfect. Passports. That's something that I love to talk about with Americans. A lot still don't have. You're traveling on the enhanced ID, especially for cruises or even other countries now. They are asking for passports. They really want to have those passports. So thank you, Heather, for getting those and being prepared. Yeah, we can do last minute trips for sure. And I do find a lot of my clientele here do the 3, 4, 5 day, and they do the shorter trips, and they do them sooner. You know, long weekend comes up, you've got time, the kids aren't doing something, or mom and dad can just get away for a trip. Easy to do. Deals, when we call deals, sometimes you'll get a good value because they have open vacancy. So you might get a good price. I always tell people, if you can, book way out in advance. You're going to get the best prices further out than you will short time. But you know what? It never hurts to ask. If you've got a weekend that you're thinking about something, definitely we can put it in. Now, military, first responders, and people like that, thank you, first of all, for your service. They almost every vendor will give a discount for it. Sometimes it's a significant, sometimes it's not, but it's still something more than nothing. So it never hurts to ask.
Well, and Karen Ray just chatted in and said, Patty is the bomb. She planned the best vacation I've been on. The cruise was amazing.
Thank you so much, Karen.
Nothing like testimonial, huh?
Yeah, that was they actually went over New Year's Eve. So they spent New Year's in Miami and did a cruise, and it was so great planning it for them. Totally beat expectations. It's kind of funny. She said, "You didn't tell me that we were going to get, our special lounge, and we were going to get guided in and not with everybody else." And I'm like, got to keep some secrets, but
good one.
The hotels and the cruise. So thanks so much, Karen.
Awesome.
That's super
that
cool
for you, Jordan. So,
and as we're talking about that, just a little bit of a side note. So is it true that Canadians don't get into a plane unless it's 7 days or more?
Pretty much.
What? Say that again. What?
We don't get on a plane for less than 7 days.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's like a 7-day trip minimum. Otherwise, I'm not getting on a plane.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty much. Our flights, like a flight from where I came from Edmonton, Alberta, is 5.5 hours to Cancun. If you can get a direct. If not, we're even stopping in Calgary first, and then we're on the plane. So 5.5 hours, that's a long day of travel already. So you lose your first day, you lose your last day. So really you're getting 5 days vacation. So everybody down here that's doing a 4 or 5 day, a 2.5 hour flight to Cancun from Dallas is
No
so
big
much
deal.
easier.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's all
Yep.
proportion. And then, cost of flights and cost of travel from Canada was much higher. So again, we plan out further out, and we definitely do the longer trips.
So Steve Neller and our group, what is your favorite Caribbean destination, resort, and love the all-inclusive price? So here's a potential client for you.
Yeah. My heart is in Mexico. I love the Cancun area, kind of the Mayan area. My favorite little town is called Puerto Morelos. It is between Cancun and Playa del Carmen. It's on the ocean side are all the resorts, but if you cross the highway, you get into the colonial side, and that's where the locals live, the little markets, the little shops, the little food places. Mexico to me feels like home. So just to put a little shout out, Jordan and I were talking yesterday about taking off to the Oaxaca area. And so we definitely want to go out and scout more of Mexico to open it up. Yeah, exactly. I know there's a lot of people have, apprehensions about Mexico or Jamaica or, Dominican even for safety reasons. And I'll tell you, you know what? Unfortunately,
And Steve just asked that.
yeah, is it safe now? You know what? I can say
Depends where
that
you
for
go.
downtown Dallas. I can say that for downtown Edmonton. Is it safe? It has its times. Unfortunately, anytime that you hear of a shooting or something, it is really based. It's targeted. There's a reason for it. They are not going in to hurt tourism. They don't want to do that. Unfortunately, things do happen. But like I said, I mean, you can take precautions. There's great resorts that are in the tourist area for a reason. You stay with that. Don't go off resort if you're not comfortable. I'll tag you up with a local driver if you want to go and do shopping and excursions. You're with someone local that way. You're not, plopped in the middle of a country, not know anybody. I've got contacts in the Dominican. I've got contacts in Jamaica that can take you out. So I make it as safe as we can for any of my travelers, because I wouldn't go if it wasn't safe, and I wouldn't promote it if it wasn't safe.
The rule, Patty, was international travel was always awareness, right?
Exactly.
Just be aware.
Yeah. And also, things you had highlighted, because what's funny, and to give a little perspective, I have a lot of family in Mexico, and they're constantly concerned about me because they hear about all the shooting in Texas and they think everybody's getting shot all the time. It's like, how do you even go outside? Like, there's people shooting each other all the time. It's like, no. Like, it does happen. It's a tragedy, but it doesn't make it so just I can't go downtown Mansfield and be in trouble.
Yeah. Unfortunately. All right, good. Let me jump you out, Jordan. Sorry, we had so many chatters there. I have to get back to your banner. Sorry about that. This is great.
No. It's all good. I love comments. It's just, we're getting these real time. This is cool. This is a live show.
Yeah.
So now that we're talking about, taking trips, like even a Mexico trip, you have hosted groups.
Yeah.
That you do. Can you tell me a little about that and what kind of groups you host?
Yeah. So my husband is also an associate travel agent of mine. He's done the training. He's certified. We like to host our groups together. It's extra security. If anyone's seen my husband, nobody messes with him. And there's two of us to deal with issues if they came up. If somebody's sick one day, I can deal with them. Terry can still take out the group. We had our best hosted group when we did a cruise for Europe. We flew everyone into Paris. Then we flew immediately over to Rome, did 3 days in Rome. So we did all the tours, hop on, hop off. We did the Colosseum. We did the Palestine. We did everything. And how we work it is Terry's at the head of the group, leading the pack to where we're going. I'm with the very last traveler. So everybody's in between. We can see everybody. There's that air of safety. They get to enjoy their trip. They're not worrying about, am I going down the wrong street? Am somebody pickpocketing? Nothing. We host our groups for that reason. And then there's that little bit of confidence that when you're going, your travel agent's with you. So, if something happens and there's an emergency and I have to fly home, I'm working on it. I'm getting you back that day. Everybody else goes on with their trip and I can deal with this stuff in real time. We did have a couple of issues. We had a couple of tours booked on our Europe cruise when we were in the ports. And for the next day, I got a text from the vendor saying, sorry, we have to cancel your tour. So while we're on a tour, I'm rebooking a new tour for my group. And they didn't even know that it happened. I just explained to them later that, we've got to change an itinerary for tomorrow. This is what we're doing instead. It just goes that smooth. So we love hosting our groups because our guests have the best time. They just don't have to worry about anything. It's experience for us. We get to go and enjoy it as well. And we always get to try out new things. So we've done a couple paranormal tours that way as well in New Orleans with a group.
Wow.
Yeah. So we do a little smaller groups that way. We've done food groups. We've done cruises. And we've actually done hosted groups for Day of the Dead in Mexico. We actually took over one of the resorts outside barbecue area and stole their chef for a while. So we actually got everybody to learn to make ceviche and a guacamole. So those kind of things you get to do with hosted groups that you don't get if I just send a couple off by themselves and, try get them a really good excursion. But this is why we try and do most of it. So we try and post our groups early. If anyone has ideas that they want to, say, hey, this would be a great idea, we'd love to hear from them and create one and go on it with them. So
that's awesome. Love that.
No, that sounds so
what a good idea too.
Yeah.
think about it. A kind of inclusive group of friends just going and having fun and checking stuff out.
Experience of a lifetime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and a couple of the groups, people didn't know each other when they actually came on our group. So what we do ahead of time is we do a meet and a greet on Zoom. So everybody gets to kind of meet everybody on Zoom
Yeah,
first.
icebreakers. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we set up
icebreakers.
a Facebook page so everybody can chat, get to know each other a little bit before
love
we
it.
actually travel.
That's
So
cool.
there's
Cool.
always that mix.
How big are typically the groups?
We like to do between 10 and 12. We keep
Okay.
them a little bit smaller. As we grow and as I get more people experienced with us, we can expand the group, because then the experienced travelers can also help in and guide some people too. But right now we like to keep them small. This way we can do the smaller restaurants. When we get transfers, we can fit everybody in one vehicle. We're not splitting people. Same thing with hotels, easy to book enough rooms for everybody. So it keeps it together.
So Heather would like to know if you hosted small group 5 to 7 for seniors overseas.
Well, my Europe cruise actually had the youngest was, I think that was maybe me at 50, I think.
Okay.
And the oldest was 74. So we had full range of age. I've also, in 2018, we did Alaska cruise, and they were all seniors. And one actually had a scooter for mobility. So that can be arranged too on cruises to help people out.
Real important. Didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. That's cool.
Yeah. So we found the excursions that the scooter could go on. We, coming on and off the ship, we helped all that out. So definitely seniors is a great group to go with, because again, some of them are singles. So we tag them up. If you've got two ladies that lost their husbands, or husbands don't travel, or vice versa, lost their wives, they still want to travel. They still want to mingle. And we can do those groups and just tag people up so that's more cost effective as well.
And if you find, single, the lady lost her husband a few years back, single male lost her wife a few years back. And
It's not my business, but
each other.
You never know. You never know.
I
You
would
never
love
know.
to come to another wedding for sure.
There
So,
you go. Yeah, because that's right up your alley too.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So to speak.
Yeah, if my mom's watching this, you might have gotten another booking.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
And so going on, because you've mentioned cruises a little bit. I feel like to some degree, all inclusive and cruises have some of the same kind of vibe going on.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's like some bigger differences on it as well. I would imagine the pacing, but can you tell me a little bit more about the advantages of one versus the other?
Hey,
Yeah. There's pros and cons to both of them for sure. Essentially, all inclusive is great for people who don't like boats. And that's the first thing when I'm talking with somebody, I'm like, have you ever considered?
Yes, the hotel doesn't move.
Yeah, exactly. So, the first consideration, have you ever considered a cruise? Nope, don't like big boats. I don't like water. So then it's definitely the all-inclusive. If there is the option of the cruising between the two, basically you get to both destinations, you unpack for the week, which is fantastic. Cruising allows you to see more of the world. And then that determination, do you ever want to go back for a week? Or you done with that port for one day?
Oh.
The disadvantage to that is I only got to see that port for one day, so there's good and bad to that part of it. All inclusive, you better like the resort, right? Great expectations. It looks beautiful in pictures. When you get there, you're like, oh, I'm stuck here for a week. So there's the pros and cons. But again, that comes down to a lot of my experience of the hotels I've been in, the cruises I've been on, and then really pulling that information out of my clients to say, what do you really want? And then matching them with the best products that they do have a great time in a resort or the great time on the ship. So
I never thought of a cruise as being like your scouting trip for a second trip, but that makes a lot of sense.
Our very first cruise that we ever went on was a 5-day, and it was out of New Orleans. And all we did was Progresso and Cozumel. And we did a 5-day because we didn't know if we were going to like it. Like, we were from Canada, we were landlocked. We see these big ships, didn't know anything about them. Didn't know if we'd like being on the ocean either. So we thought 5-day, that's it. Loved it. That was actually back in 2008. And actually, here's my card from my very first cruise. It was a Carnival. Yeah, they used to give you these kind of cards, and this was our beverage card. We've come a long way. And actually,
so you did it right the first time.
I did. Yeah. when we were coming back into port, a tugboat hit the bridge and they closed down the port of New Orleans.
Oh,
And so we were actually redirected to Mobile, Alabama. There were buses waiting with the people that were coming onto the ship, and
Right.
those buses took us back. We didn't even know what happened until they actually explained it to us.
wow.
So we had such a great experience. Again, fell in love with Mexico. Progreso is, kind of industrial. It's very authentic. We loved that vibe. And then you got kind of the touristy of Cozumel and went, oh my God, this country has both. It's perfect. So we were hooked, and that's how we got started. So it was just a good indication that this is something we want to do again. So like I said, over 30 cruises since 2008, and we're going on one next week, trying a new line. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, could you tell us a little bit about your trip? Because from what I understand, you're going to be doing some live streaming.
Yeah, we always, so please follow us at Dreamaker YEG. Terry and I love to do our little videos in destination and on the cruise. It allows people to kind of see what we're seeing and what we do in port, why it's great to be there, why you need to come. So definitely every port, we're actually hitting Key West and the island of Bimini. So Bimini is going to be new to me. Haven't been there. We've been to Key West before, but we're hoping to find some new things. So again, Dreamaker YEG, find out if there's something that we have to do. Definitely text it to me, and I'd love to go check it out. So
So Sandra says that she loves cruising. She likes it when everybody leaves the ship so she can have it all to herself.
Sandra, you got it.
That's pretty fun.
Pro tip right there.
Yeah, and that's something actually we were talking about the other day. We want to do a few more, but and to be on different ships now.
Sure.
So with cruising, the very first question I'll ask people is, are you sailing for the destination or are you sailing for the ship?
Right.
Right? Are you just trying to get away from home life and you just want to be on a ship and be pampered and everything? Or do you want to go adventure and see new places, and do you want to go back? So there's that combination of both. When people say, well, both, then okay, fine. But the people that tend to stay on the ship, it's because they've been to those ports before. And then you're right, there's nobody in the pool. The bars are open. You get the whole ship to yourself.
Or they just don't want to be on a schedule, right?
Yeah,
they just want to do their own thing and have their own time to do whatever they want. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Okay. So to touch back a little bit about groups, because this is one thing I didn't actually got to talk to you. Now we just talk about advantages of cruising versus all inclusive, but what are the advantages of group travel?
Yeah.
And, before we take that, let's take Steve's question here.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting overwhelmed with chat, which is great.
I love it.
Do you like to travel off property to check out local food? And I think we already know the answer to that question.
Yeah, every place we go, usually what we do is we'll tag up with someone local, a local tour operator, and we'll say, take us to the local places. Take us to where you would take your family to eat. And usually what we do is we buy our tour operator lunch, but that gets us to some really cool places. Jamaica, our top one is the Pork Pit. It is a local place. To health standards, people are like, no. I'm like, bring it on. The food is great. If the locals eat there, you want to be there. In Cancun, my top place is a taco place called Taco Ricos. It is one of the original taco places in downtown, authentic, local Cancun area. It is phenomenal food. You just don't get those flavors. Going into Puerto Morelos on the colonial side, they have taco carts on the street. The best tacos you will ever have, and they're like 80 cents a taco. But it makes people nervous about doing things. And that's my goal with travel, especially to Mexico. I'm a huge supporter of Mexico. For the fact is, there's so many great things to it. You just got to go and explore. And I understand when people book it themselves and they're dropped in the middle of a country, they're not going anywhere. And I respect that. But come to an agent who's traveled before, who has contacts, and can send you out with these locals to learn more. The last time we were in Jamaica, we did the Jamaican rum factory, Appleton's. We had a driver. He took us to the two places that have the best meat patties. He took us to the rivals. So we got from both of them and we actually did a comparison. Then we were driving back to the resort and there's this fruit stand. And I'm like, what are those? What is that? And he's like slammed on his brakes, backed up, and we went and actually looked at the local fruits. And he actually said, this is this, this is this, this is it. We bought some and we actually got to try it.
Oh, wow.
So if you ever get a custard apple, oh my God, try it. It is amazing. And it's this orange or yellowy, greeny fruit that you would just kind of go, it doesn't look good. It's amazing. But until you actually have a local show you that, you may not know.
That's cool.
So my goal is to open up the world for those kind of experiences. Yeah, I can book you into an all-inclusive and stick you in a resort. And if that's what you want, bless your heart. But if you're looking for that little bit more of an adventure, just say it. I got places for you.
There you go. That's what I like.
Yeah.
And going back a little bit to that,
isn't it nice, your travel agent, Jordan? Isn't it nice that Patty can suggest places because she's been there, right? And say, while you're there and you go on your adventure, you need to check this out.
Yeah.
Right?
oh yeah, and the cool thing about it too is like she knows her stuff because she's mentioning places that I know.
Right.
About. I'm like, how do you know about that?
You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And I will say also, I haven't been everywhere, but I also have at least 1,400 other colleagues, travel agents that have been there. So I have a huge pool of other people. So if a client comes to me for a destination that I haven't been to yet, I'm going to reach out to them because I trust them. They're in the same boat I am. They won't steer me wrong. They're going to give you that honest, this is a good thing, this is a bad thing, here you go. So I have a huge resource of other travel agents. And they're not always in my company either. They're other branches, other companies. Travel agents stick together. I mean, I think we're a breed that understands we got to help each other out for the better good of our clients. So
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's super cool.
Thank you, chatters.
Yes.
yeah, thanks.
So okay, so going back to the group travel, can you give me a little bit of the advantages of doing that? I mean, it sounds super cool, like, but you know, what kind of advantages does that actually do?
So the first thing I'm going to explain about group travel is the misconception of it's always cheaper to go as a group. And that's the one thing people have said, well, I'm bringing you 10 people. How come it's not cheaper than me buying it online? Here's why. Generally what happens when you're doing like an all-inclusive, and I'll say to Mexico or Dominican or somewhere where there's air, hotel, and transfers included, the airline and the hotel have partnerships. And what they do is the airline and the hotel get together and they say, okay, we're going to charge this much. For a group of 10, we're taking a risk. We're saving 20 seats on a group of 10 rooms, saving 20 seats on the plane. We're saving 10 rooms for this group. If anything happens and they cancel, we're out. Right? They're all probably going to get refunds. We have no seats. We've got vacancies. So what they do is they'll take the cheapest charges on the plane, like the cheapest seats. They'll take an average of a room, depending on what category, and they blend it together. They average it out. So the positive part with going with groups is everybody pays the same price. So if the cheapest is $1,000, the most expensive is $3,000. Average is $2,000. That's what everybody's going to be paying on that group. So whether you book in day 1 or you book in day 10, you're still paying $2,000. There's no, oh, I got mine cheaper.
Yeah.
The bad part to that is, well, actually, I'm going to keep going with good. There's more good than bad. So the other thing is if this plane does sell out, because there's thousands of hotels, but there's only so many planes that come in. So once the air kind of sells out, it's sold out. Once that plane fills up, we all know that they oversell all the time.
Right.
So what happens is people in the groups are less likely to be canceled or bumped because you have that group. So especially if you have a destination wedding where you need everybody to be there, you know, weddings, anything like that, that's what you want. That group gives you that little bit of security. Then we have the pull power of saying kind of we want the rooms in this area, all of that kind of stuff. If you book outside of the group, there's no guarantee. Wedding groups are definitely one of the big ones. If people book outside the wedding group and stay at a different hotel because it's cheaper, sometimes that hotel does not allow people in, even if it's for a family wedding. So you have to think about and be careful for things like that. The bad part to doing groups is, like I said, very first thing, you might be paying a little bit more than you could if you bought it yourself online. And that kind of deters people and that kind of turns them off and just like, why are you upping the price? We're not. That is how it works. It's a sliding scale. Unfortunately, when I put in a group quote to a hotel for or a vendor for a hotel and air and stuff, this is the price coming back. It is what it is. It's not
It is what
negotiable.
it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody thinks, Patty, that the travel industry is always negotiable, right?
Yeah,
And it's
right.
really not. They might have their own price package, right? But they're
Yeah.
not. Doesn't mean they're going to get, because it's winter and you're in summer. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to price it the way they feel they can make their money and their profit and put it
Yeah.
together in the right way. So
Yeah. The one thing I always say is travel is a luxury, right?
yeah,
And we know it.
gotcha.
Right.
Right.
This is a luxury and they're going to price it according to how they see. And it is still going up. Everything in our world is going up. But after COVID happened, it definitely spiked. Number one, people hadn't traveled for a long period of time, so they didn't realize that the prices went up. Number two, everyone's trying to recoup their money. And that's just the reality of it. I mean,
Yeah, makes
so
sense.
prices are higher. But like I said, with groups, just that having everybody together, that little bit of security is a great thing. So.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Yeah. And, speaking of prices and group travels, cancellations, I mean, especially, I feel like it's worse now than it's ever been. Like, it just seems like everybody gets stranded at an airport, like on a habitual base. And it can have some catastrophic implications. I mean, you got to catch a cruise and they're like, sorry, we sold your ticket.
Yeah.
Then, you're SOL. But there is something that I feel like very few people take advantage of this. I myself have been guilty of this, but I would love to know more. Is travel insurance?
Yeah.
I don't know how it works. But as I've grown older and wiser, I'm becoming to understand the advantages of insurance and what it can do for you. So I have a completely different perspective, and I realize I have a big glaring gap on travel insurance. So can you take us a little bit through that?
Sure. Yeah, travel insurance. The vendors now basically have said, after COVID, you guys know what can happen. You need to be responsible. You need to carry your own travel insurance. We're not going to be just giving your money back because the weather changed and we had to cancel the trip. They're no longer taking that responsibility. And it was really bad right after. Now we're kind of getting out where at least you may get a credit back from the vendor. So if you're prepared to still travel and take that credit, that is an option. But if you don't even take their insurance, you are out of luck. There comes a point in time when it's final payment and 100% penalty, you're done. You've lost your money if you don't have insurance. So travel insurance, there's so many different kind of packages out there. There's so many different,
I bet.
Pros and cons to it, all of that kind of stuff. There's medical, there's insurance, interruption, and there's cancellation. There's baggage delay loss.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of it. Some plans have something called cancel for any reason. And if you can find a plan that has that, you buy it early. So if something happens that your job may say, sorry, you can't go anymore. 3 people quit, you can't travel. We're revoking your vacation. That is a cancel for any reason. It was unforeseen, unexpected. You're not going to get 100% of your money back, but at least you're going to get a good portion of it if the vendor won't do anything. And it works the same way as kind of health insurance. There's 2 payers. Usually if you get through their vendor, like a cruise line or an airline, they're going to pay out first or help you first. Then your travel insurance would be second. The worst thing that I see on Facebook are people that post going, family member had a heart attack in, destination, and we have to do a GoFundMe to get them home. We don't have any insurance. That, even $200 to get that insurance ahead of time would have flown them back to the US and got them medical care.
Yep.
There's a lot of plans. They're not all equal. You really need to see what that plan entails. And that depends on your health as well. A lot of plans don't cover pre-existing medical conditions. So if you had heart disease or cancer, or if you have high blood pressure or diabetes, anything right now, when you go to a different climate, your body changes. So it could throw anything out of whack. So you need a plan that has pre-existing medical conditions.
Yep.
You also want to ask, does that plan pay in destination? Other plans, if you don't have that, you get into the hospital, they say, give me $5,000 or we're not even looking at you. Some of these medical plans, you call in and they will actually deal with the hospital direct and direct bill. So, you have to really understand your plan and you really have to shop for good ones. They are not made equal. So I'm a huge believer in travel insurance.
It's important.
It is. Yeah. I don't want to pay extra for my trip, but that also comes into the planning as well. When we're first talking with people, it's like, do you have travel insurance? This is something you need to budget in. Do we need to reduce the trip a bit to afford travel insurance? But please think about it.
Yeah.
And the worst thing that I do get from a lot of people is, oh, I have a credit card that has it. Credit cards 99% of the time, unless it's a Mac Daddy card, does not have medical coverage. They're not taking that risk to pay out $1 million premium on a credit card.
Exactly.
So you need to know what your credit card covers as well. And if it's not medical, if it's not whatever, we can find you something that can top it up or just supplement what you do need.
Right.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. That's
Awesome answer.
I'm
right.
not familiar with, but I definitely know it's important and part of adulting.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so my next question for you, and this is one that I'm actually really excited to ask you about, because this wasn't on my radar before until Rachel found a river cruise that goes down the Nile, and then I was like, wait, what? There is river cruises, which I didn't know about, and I just knew about the ocean cruising. So how are they different?
Well,
No waves.
It's in the title. It's river to ocean, definitely. And the difference is most of the river cruising is in Europe, of course. It goes through the Rhine, the Seine, all of these little places that big ships can't get to. I don't know if a lot of people listening know, but there is river cruising right here in the U.S. down the Mississippi. Yeah, there's a couple of great lines that do river cruising here. I mean, it can take you through the South. On a paddle boat kind of thing. So
amazing.
We do have it here too, but river cruising in Europe is definitely a whole different market. So a couple of differences really is you have a lot smaller ships. Some of the ships only have like 200 people max. Very, very tiny. They don't sail at night. So the really cool thing about river cruising is you sail during the day, you look out, your panoramic views, it's beautiful. You port for the evening, you go off into town, you can have dinner, you get back, you sleep, and you're still there in the morning. And simply the reason they don't cruise at night is they can't see. So for safety reasons, they port. Really fun fact is if you get into a busy port, you may have 3 or 4 ships together, and you have to actually go off of your ship, cross their boat, go into their boat, and get onto It's so much fun. You get to meet your friends.
Yeah,
right?
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's definitely more of an intimate experience. You know, when we're talking about ocean cruising here, we're talking about 5,000 people on a ship. Yeah, you might meet a full, a few great people, from another state. You chat with them for a while. You might even stay in touch on Facebook. That's great. This here, you're on a week with, very, very limited people. Couple of cons to it for people. The entertainment's definitely different. You're going to get a piano player. You might get a lounge singer. That's kind of it. You're not getting the casinos. You're not getting, the 2 shows of comedians every night and all of that kind of stuff. There's less options for dining. You've got your main rooms or main dining rooms and a couple for lunch and things like that. But that's just it. The great part to that is they actually shop local. A lot of the programs on these river cruises is they'll take you with the chef into town to get the ingredients for supper.
Ooh, that's
really
cool.
Unique experiences. Their excursions, some of the lines, their excursions are all included. So some of the names that do really great river cruising is Viking is definitely an entry level. They've been doing it for years. There's Ama Waterways, Oceana. Some of the great big ones like that, the big names, they offer excursions in every port. So when you think about the value that you're getting with this, you're getting to places you won't see on a cruise ship. You're getting to places that you would have to fly into and then drive to go and see. And then they have really great times a year like the Christmas markets. And that's one of my bucket lists to actually do the Christmas markets. Yeah. So
the Nile's over 4,000 miles long. So I imagine they only take a part of that because you're not going to travel 4,000 miles on.
Yeah. Some do
stay in certain areas. Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on the length of the cruise. You could go from point A, and most of them are point A to point B.
Right. Okay.
And then you would fly home from there because it's kind of hard to turn around and then go back to see the same spot. So it is a different experience than, Rome to Rome or, Vancouver to Vancouver kind of thing. So, yeah.
But Herdy, it depends on your pockets.
Well, no, I understand that, but my point is that's a very long mile river, and
it is.
I was looking at Viking cruises because they send my mom the the booklets with all the different cruises because she loves Viking cruises.
Yeah.
And they sent the river cruising. That's what caught my attention. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what is this?
That
Yeah.
would be cool, though.
Yeah,
I'd
some of
enjoy
those
that.
cruises are long. I mean, I think they offered a like 30-day one. It was long.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's a long time in a boat.
Yeah, there are some that are actually 108 days. They're called world cruises. So they hit all the continents. So these are great for people who are retired or
Mhm.
semi-retired, getting to
have
that
money.
point. Have money, absolutely, but haven't finished their bucket list.
No
That's
kidding. I
really-
mean, think about that.
You
That's
look at
almost like that airlines ticket you could get from American for 250,000,
Right.
where you could go anywhere in the world as lifetime member, right? So, how cool would it be, Jordan, to go on a 108-day cruise?
Yeah.
That would be incredible.
The other really great thing to river cruising, I'm going to say, versus ocean cruising is it's a lot smoother. So when people say, I can't do the rocky waters, that
Right.
is very valid. But river cruising is completely different because it's closed waters. It's a lot calmer. So people who can't ocean cruise can still river cruise, which is fabulous. They get that experience.
That's awesome. Now you mentioned bucket list, and I immediately go, what is in a travel agent's bucket list? Because I feel like yours is going to be next level.
You know, I don't really know that mine's next level.
I have one for you.
Oh, what's that?
Go to the Aleutians
Ah, ha, ha.
and hike the islands. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. Probably not a place to go, huh?
Not hiking for sure. My best trips that I've ever taken, I've got two. French Polynesia. We did a cruise. We started in Papeete. We did the 4 islands. Then we sailed 4 days over to Hawaii and finished in Hawaii. That was amazing. Bora Bora has always been on my bucket list. And I know it's on a lot of people's, and it is a very expensive place to go for 3, 4, 5 days. But this was a really great way of seeing it because, yes, we were there a day. And actually, that day we rented a pontoon boat with our clients that were with us. And we just sailed in the inlet of Bora Bora. We sailed around it. And we got off where we wanted to. We snorkeled for a while. We got back on the boat, kept going. It was the most amazing trip. And then finishing up in Hawaii finished that for me. You know, we did the cultural things there too. So I actually have another cruise going May of 2026. We're doing the same itinerary from Papeete back to Hawaii. So it was just, and it's coming in at like $4,200 a person for a balcony. So the price, and the reason that I've got that price is because I took the group space last year. So that is something with groups. If I can take that space a year or 2 out, it's much, much cheaper. The year that we did it, our cabin sold for $10,000. So $5,000 a person. By the time we were sailing, they were selling them for $22,000 a cabin. So my clients, if they were going to book last minute, saved over $10,000 booking it early through me. And you get to do a deposit and chip away at it. So that's a big thing. My next one was my Italy and Greece cruise that we took the group with. Fell in love with Rome, got to see Paris. You know, those are destinations that were always on my bucket list as a kid too. And I got those. So those were my dream trips so far. And bucket list, I'm going to say almost every trip I'm still going to go on, whether it be in the US or in the world, it's still on my list. But I haven't done Asia. And I know Jordan and I have talked a bunch about this. Asia is definitely one on my list. It kind of terrifies me a little to think of China, Japan, even Vietnam, all those places. But that to me is going to be a great way of seeing it. The security of a cruise ship. I get to see the places, get off, and then get back on. And that will tell me where I want to go back again. So.
Even though we're bumping into the end here, Karen again wants to know, can you book group cruises and upgrade to like what you did for me and my husband? In other words, I guess there's upgrade options within the actual trip.
And what did you do? Because I keep hearing about this vacation everywhere.
Yeah, where did she go?
Well, that's confidentiality.
Okay, fine. Whatever. We'll ask Karen. We'll ask her herself.
Yeah. So what I do when I take out group cruise space or whatever, I look for balcony cabins or I'll do an inside cabin. So inside are going to be your cheapest. That just gets people on the boat. just so that they can go. They don't care where they're sleeping. That's an important one. Balconies to me are very important on a cruise ship. I love my first morning waking up, opening the curtains, opening my patio door and breathing in that salt air is the most amazing experience you will ever know. And then having that coffee out on that balcony, watching the water go by, hitting the boat. That sound you can never forget. That is what I love with a balcony. So I'll usually take a couple of different cabins. What Karen is talking about is she was actually in a retreat, which had her own butler. So that is a good service. So what I do with balconies, there are suites, and then there's suite cabins, and then there's penthouse suites. There's all of those. So in a group, just because I have inside and a balcony, if you wanted to book a haven or a retreat, we can still book it and bring it into the group. So you still get the amenities. I still help you. You still get all of everything traveling with the whole group. But yes, you can pick your certain cabin as long as it's available. So that is the great thing about groups too. They have that little bit of flexibility. And that does go for all-inclusive resorts as well. If we book just a standard room, if you want to upgrade to an oceanfront, that can happen and can be brought into the group as well.
The best Karen ever.
Best Karen ever. You betcha.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, chat. Listen, we're bumping into the end, and I got to say this because I didn't get to say it enough at the end. If you look at her name, right, if 90% of y'all probably pronounce it, but it's Pattie Kisilewich. Okay, and so. Man, I thank you for being a part of this. And we've got our website up. We also want to thank our sponsor, Liberty Tax Defenders. If you get a letter from the IRS and you call these guys, and their links will be listed inside the description box along with your website too, Pattie. We want to thank you for being on the Mansfield Buzz today. Guys, we are on every single Thursday from 2 to 3 with another local business. Thank you for all the chatters today that chatted. Thank you for your great questions. Thank you for making this fun. Jordan, thank you for being a great host. Pattie, thank you for being a super awesome interview with us and catching us up on travel. I'll tell you what,
so much knowledge.
I'm thinking about going to Bermuda. I'll be calling you soon. I really want to talk to you about that. And so y'all have a fantastic day. We'll see you next Thursday at 2 p.m. on the Mansfield Buzz.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.